Vitali, he's our CEO and our CTO as well. Obviously, thank you all for joining us. Always a pleasure to be able to present during these live webinars. As Gretchen mentioned, our purpose today is definitely to showcase what we can bring to the SmartView, to a content suite extended ECM SmartView in terms of creating custom menu items, and there's actually more. I'll share a quick agenda shortly, but just very few words on who is AnswerModules. First and foremost, we are, as Gretchen mentioned, an OpenText partner. Specifically, we are a solution extension partner. Now, we are a product-oriented company, a product-focused company, and our purpose is really to deliver innovative, high-value solutions dedicated to the content suite and extended DCM platforms. Now, our solutions, they are trusted and utilized globally by, at the moment, a little over 100 organizations, and coming from very different type of industries, very different type of backgrounds, and various sizes as well. Now, before we get into the actual agenda, I have to leave this disclaimer up just a few seconds, so just bear with me. And I think we can proceed. So, the agenda for today. As mentioned, the focus will definitely be on SmartView Custom Menu items and that more. What is that more? Well, essentially we'd like to show an integration between CSP, XNDCN, and the Zoom conference platform. And we'd also like to discuss how our solution can facilitate bulk operations, so optimizing bulk operations on the EIM platform. Before we get to those topics, since they are essentially features of our core solution, I'd like to discuss a little bit about what is our core solution. So the core solution is called the Module Suite, and the way that we define it is really the smartest, the easiest, the fastest way to deliver tailored business solutions on top of the content suite and extended ECM platform. So for the sake of brevity, from here on out, when I say CSP, I'm actually talking about Con Server / Con Suite and extended ECM, so just to keep things a little bit shorter. Now, the Module Suite, it's actually a fully integrated add-on solution for CSP. Lives and breathes 100% within CSP. There's no additional footprint to your IT landscape and doesn't require any dependencies on other modules. Now, the Module Suite, it's actually a set of tools. And the purpose of these tools is really to extend and further enhance the standard capabilities of the CSP platform. So really building on top of what's already there. And the purpose of it, the purpose of the Module Suite, it's essentially to allow organizations to build and modify as well tailored solutions, tailored applications in an agile way. So you can create and modify the solutions as your business evolves. So again, the Module Suite is really a stack, a framework for creating tailored applications, tailored solutions on top of the CSP platform in a very intelligent and very agile way. Now, what can actually be done with the Module Suite? Now, what I have on the screen, these are just some of the use cases. These are definitely not all of them, but they're the most common ones. So starting from forms. So what we're doing, well, what Module Suite is doing is essentially enhancing the standard form framework. So we're not adding new form framework, we're extending what's already there. What we are adding, however, is a visual drag and drop form builder. Now, the purpose of the Module Suite when it comes to forms is very simple. So it's essentially to allow you to create very advanced forms, very ergonomic forms, very user-friendly forms that can be utilized to collect and process information in pretty much any scenario. So forms that reside on CSP, forms that reside on mobile, or also offline scenarios as well. Now, when it comes to workflows, just like with forms, we're not adding a new workflow engine. So I'd really like to stress this fact. We're not adding a new workflow engine. We're enhancing the standard workflow engine. The value that we bring, essentially we're able to add intelligent automation and also add personalized steps to your workflows. And the purpose of this is really to drive efficiency and productivity within your business processes. So in other words, translating the way that your business truly operates into a process on CSP. Now continuing counterclockwise, when it comes to UIs, and this will definitely be one of the topics, well, pretty much the main topic for today's discussion, is the module suite can bring several advantages for crafting tailored interfaces, both on the classic, but more importantly on the SmartView as well. Now, the objective of creating a tailored interface, tailored UI, is pretty straightforward. It's normally to provide the most productive experience possible to the end user, so to the business users. And last but not least, integrations. So the module suite, it's used quite extensively to both facilitate and also in some cases enable integrations with other platforms and other systems. Be those homegrown systems, legacy systems, or productized platforms such as DocuSign as well as Zoom, which we'll be seeing later today. And another aspect of the module suite is that whenever you're creating a solution, creating an application using our technology, you're actually employing a low-coding approach, and you can adopt a truly agile methodology as well. Now, what we just saw, like I mentioned, those were just some of the use cases that can be implemented with the module suite. Now, the use cases that can be created, this can be standalone solutions to a very specific problem, or they can be combined to create full-fledged tailored applications. Now, we'll be seeing one of these applications later on in Patrick's demo, but just to give you a quick overview, just some points, a quick idea. These are 3 examples of applications that can that actually have been crafted using the module suite. So first and foremost, a factory management application. So essentially, it's an application that leverages intelligent forms and a tailored managerial dashboard, and these are used to assign, but more importantly, also oversee worker shifts. So again, this application has been built with the module suite on top of CSP. Now, another application, sample application that we've seen very popular of late is contract automation. So the idea behind this application is pretty straightforward. So we can generate a fully fledged contract starting from data collected using one of our forms, and then merging a selection of predefined clauses, which are actually Word documents stored on CSP. So I believe this is actually the application we might be showing later on, but again, it's proving very, very popular at the moment. But again, I like to stress the fact that these are just some examples of applications that can be built with the module suite. Then last but not least, we can also have this example of a project RFI, or better yet, an application to manage a project's RFI. And in this case, we're using forms again, but we're also leveraging the automation of connected workspaces to essentially submit, manage, and reply to RFIs, even if they are involving external parties as well. So these, again, are just some ideas of things that can be created and crafted with the module suite. But now that you have a very high-level overview of the solution, I would like to move a little bit more into today's main topics. And again, let's start from the custom menu items in SmartView. So to our knowledge, module suite is currently the only solution that allows you to add custom menu items in the SmartView. Now, the idea behind this feature is pretty straightforward, in my opinion, and that is essentially to allow you to further tailor and further personalize the user interface so that it better meets your specific business needs, or essentially your specific business users' needs. Now, it might seem like a fairly simple innovation, fairly straightforward innovation, but the impact that this can have is actually quite huge. Because if you think about it, it essentially allows you to open a whole host of new scenarios for what is essentially the main mechanism with which your business users interact with the system. So what those new scenarios can be, well, we have some of them on the screen at the moment. Again, these are just some examples, some of the use cases that can be implemented with this new functionality. So just two quick ideas that come to my mind, or sorry, two quick scenarios that come to my mind is, for example, we could select multiple Word documents in a folder, and then in one click merge them, add a cover page, and also apply a naming convention to that new merged document, all starting from one place in just a matter of clicks. Or also we could select a specific or multiple documents and start a predefined approval process, again, with one click. So again, just having this ability to interact and do high-value interactions directly from the SmartView menu. Obviously, it brings a whole host of benefits. Now, as with everything with the module suite, the use cases, they're extremely flexible. They can have a very wide range of complexity, and they are pretty much endless as well. Now, one of the primary characteristics of this new feature of the custom items in the SmartView, sorry, custom menu items in the SmartView, is that it employs a low-coding approach. So there's no heavy coding to be done in order to actually create a custom menu item. So creating a custom menu item using the module suite is really just a matter of configuring a pre-packaged item so that meets your specific business needs. So again, maintaining that idea of low coding as we have with everything else in the module suite. Now we've also kept the ability to employ a very fine-grained approach to the permission mechanism. So in other words, access to a specific custom command, it can be managed at the group level, at the location level, or even on the level of a single user. Now the benefits of the custom menu items, essentially they can be summed up in 3 key points. One is automation at the service of productivity. One click, I can do a whole host of tasks, a whole host of activity, high value activity. Second is supporting tailored UIs with the objective of delivering even more efficiency to the way my business operates. And third benefit is, again, employing an agile methodology. And on this regards, I'd like to discuss a little bit more in depth on this slide. Now, what really differentiates our solution is that it has essentially a zero lead time from concept to deployment. So from the time it takes you to think or receive a request of, a custom menu item, what you want that to do, to actually having it available to your line of business, it's a matter of minutes, really. Now, the traditional, well, quote-unquote traditional approach, would take probably around 1 to 5 days, because you take first and foremost, you need to have knowledge on the SDK. Then you need the development time, and then you also need time to deploy it. Well, with Module Suite, it can be done, again, in just a matter of minutes. But more importantly, it can be done by one person that is sitting alongside the line of business. So again, employing that agile methodology, and also without any system restarts. So you can manage and dish out a request, again, in a matter of minutes without any interruption to the daily operations. So that kind of closes up a little bit about the custom menu items for the SmartView. And although I'm pretty sure you're all eager to see a live demo of it, just bear with me a couple more minutes as I'd like to introduce the Zoom integration that we'll be showing as well. So again, I'm sure as well that this item caught your attention when you saw it in the agenda. So just to give you some background on why we've implemented it. Well, I mean, it's pretty much safe to assume that smart working and remote collaboration is becoming, and will become even more and more prevalent in our daily lives. That'll probably be the status quo. So for this reason, we've essentially thought about implementing the integration between CSP and Zoom, again, to facilitate that remote work scenario. Now, this is an initial development of the integration that we'll be seeing today. And for this initial development, we've made it ready to use in the context of connected workspaces. Why connected workspaces? Well, simply put, due to their nature, they are probably the most relevant CSP objects when it comes to collaboration with other parties, with other users, etc. And with our Zoom integration, we just see a further enhancement to this collaborative aspect. So in the context of a Zoom integration, a connected workspace can be thought of as both the catalyst for virtual meetings, as well as the container for all the content that is relevant pre and post meeting as well. So just to give you an idea of what this means, we just thought of this sample scenario in which the Zoom integration is just one piece of the puzzle for implementing what is essentially a 100% digital process. So this example, it takes into account four different tools that are used seamlessly to discuss and finalize a contract 100% remotely. So let's say I just need to discuss this offer with an external party. What I could do is, first and foremost, let's just say I already have this offer, this document stored on CSP. So directly from a custom menu item, I can send a Zoom meeting to the prospective client that is associated to that offer. Automatically, what will happen, and this is an example of smart automation that can be put in with Module Suite, is we can create a folder on Course Share in which we add the offer. And when this prospective customer receives the Zoom invitation, besides the meeting details, they'll also have a link to the document that they can view on Course Share. So at that point, for the meeting, everything is set. I have the actual the call set up, but I also have an easy way of sharing the most up-to-date and most relevant content for that discussion as well. So now let's say the meeting has gone well, the call has gone well. I just need to finalize the offer and send it again for signature. In this case, what I can do is once I have an updated, the updated version, if I needed to update, version of the offer on CSP, I can again use another custom menu item to launch a signature process. And in this case, we can leverage Course Signature. So we can directly send out that specific document to that specific external party for signature via the Course Signature platform. And once the document has been signed, we can also automatically sync it back on CSP. So I'll automatically have a new version added, this time of the signed document. So again, this is just an idea of an end-to-end process that is leveraging CSP, but also different external tools, and definitely some smart automation, some forms, some UI enhancements that have been implemented utilizing the module suite. So I don't want to take up too much time from the actual demo. So on that note, Gershon, if you could please make Patrick presenter.
Thank you so very much, Paolo. Thank you, Gretchen. So what I'm going to show you today is an example on the way we are leveraging this very latest addition to the capabilities of Module Suite together with the new module that become part of Module Suite starting version 2.6. So we introduced in 2.6 Smart Pages, which is basically a very simple way for integrating forms capabilities and integrating automation capabilities directly in the Smart UI. So in order to create tailored dashboard on SmartUI, tailor applicative pages on SmartUI in order to simplify the journey for your users, to boost adoption of your applications and really provide real value to your users in a very, very simple way. So what was missing was basically a simple way to distribute this automation across the entire repository from different screens, different views, and enabling the execution of scripts and forms directly from a document or from a container. And this is exactly what we did. And obviously, we did it in the same way most of the things are done through Model Suite, so utilizing the sample convention over configuration and taking care of all the aspects related to the, let me say, difficult part of creating this stuff, leaving you just the possibility to focus on your business needs and the kind of solution you want to build. So the example that I'm going to show you is the usage of this new functionality into a very simple contract automation application. So this contract automation application allows us to basically create a new contract starting from a bunch of pre-approved paragraphs that are categorized and classified and organized into our repository. So I can look for different kind of agreements. So if I want, for example, to create a service agreement, I can see here there's several paragraphs that I can utilize to compose my agreement, and I can ask the system to create a new agreement using them and providing information that will be put into the final version of the agreement. So this application allows me basically to collect in a very structured way the information that is required to create an agreement, putting together predefined, pre-approved paragraph and create and send this agreement for approval and then for signature. So what I can do here with the customization we applied is to basically, if I select multiple documents, as you can see here, we have three new buttons here, so three new actions that can call on the documents that I selected. And the first one that I'd like to show you is the most simple one. So I can just verify what would be the result of creating an agreement utilizing all these templates. So I'm calling this this service, and this service is basically triggering a content script execution. And content scripts, what is the content script that I've called is basically merging all together the Word document that I've selected and is returning me an agreement that is combining all the different paragraphs. So if I look at just a single one of these paragraphs, so if I open just one of them, that was just a small part of the entire agreement. So service assumption was just a series of paragraphs that have been pre-approved both from legal, compliance, etc. So this first menu allows me to download a merged version of all the documents. And how was this menu made available on this space? As that is very simple. So Model Suite, when installed, creates for you a new dedicated volume where you can put your scripts and you can put your configuration elements in order to let Model Suite implement, as said, your business case. In this case, new commands can be created just by putting a new script in under the CS Smart Menu commands folder. So I have here 4 newly registered commands that are available across my entire repository, and then I will show you later how you can tune where these commands should be available and how they can be utilized. Creating a new menu is just a matter of creating a script, adding it to this folder, and then from the editor, you can just pick up the SmartUI menu command widget, configure your menu to do whatever you want, configure which kind of execution your command should respond to, so which script should execute, which URL should be redirected, etc. Different possibilities, a different option. Click on confirm, and that will generate the skeleton for your new command. So let's see now another example of a command that allows us to execute and create the actual contract. So this command is allowing us to, instead of downloading, let me say, the unconfigured version of the contract, I can literally create a new contract, a new legal agreement out of the selected template, providing the right information. When I click on it, what the system is doing is redirecting me on a smart page. So this is a smart page, so it's an object that I can utilize in Smart UI as to create standalone interfaces. So as in this case, I'm just using the smart page to republish one of our forms with all the automation that the forms is capable of, and I'm using the smart page as my primary interface. The nice thing I will show you later is that this very same smart page can be, instead of being used to create the entire UI for my application, I can just utilize it in the context of a perspective in my Smart UI perspectives, as a tile in my SVR perspective. Even more, I can configure this smart page to be displayed as a panel that can be shown everywhere in my repository. So what I can do from here is basically loading some data, demo data, and I can see we have specified the customer, we have specified a scope, service fees, and I have all the documents that I have selected. Clicking on create will basically create the, let me say, the newer version of this document, and this document has been automatically created under drafts from where I have the possibility to start our flow. And if we look at this newly created document, you will see that all the information that we have selected in the form has been moved into the document. So we have the information related to the customer, to the contact person for the customer, the starting and ending date for the agreement, even the table of the activities and the services that we are going to provide has been created here. And this is a completely modifiable Word document, so I can finalize the Word document whatever I want in the way I need, and I can just send it over for approval in a workflow. Let's say that I'm not super satisfied by this user experience, so I would prefer to have my user, first of all, I want to request my user a confirmation before to allow them to start and to create a new agreement. And another thing is I'd like my user to stay on this page, so to have the possibility to abort the creation and maybe select a different set of templates, etc. How can I do that? So I have just to look at the command that we have created, so new legal agreement. I can edit it, and I can just very quickly change the configuration for this command. So say, first of all, I want the command to be confirmed before to be executed, and I want the mode to be in a panel. So what is going to do is to open the very same smart pages that we have seen before, this time into a panel in the context of this perspective. So I can once again select all this document, click on create new legal agreement. I've been asking for a confirmation. I can confirm that I really want to create it, and now I have the very same smart pages we have worked with before, but this time displayed into a panel. I can do exactly the same thing that I did before, so I can assign demo information. I can, for example, in this case, add a new service, so for example, deployment, and I can provide a value here and a value here, and I can just hit again the create button, and this create button is going to create a new document in our repository, and I can now look at this newly created document. Where is it? Download. And this newly created document will contain, again, the information that I have selected in my form, embedded into the templates that we have selected. The new row for deployment is here. So everything is working pretty good. So now let's say that these agreements have been approved. They are in their final version. What else I can do? Maybe I might want to send them to my customer to be signed. So what I can do, we have defined another couple of menus here. So the first one is sign on DocuSign. Allows us to start a DocuSign signature process directly from SmartUI. And then we have basically a customized version of this same interface that is specifically designed for legal agreement. So let's first see sign on DocuSign. So I can select the document and ask the system to send it to DocuSign for signature. As you can see here, I can have the possibility to specify the recipient. I can have multiple recipients if I want. I can specify the order. So this form, no HTML coding involved, no JavaScript coding involved. This is a form built with Model Suite through a drag and drop editor, very easy to be built, very easy to be configured. But this is not enough. As said, we'd like to have a customized version for the same form that provides better user experience for our users, introduces some automation. So when we created these documents, what we did was also to move the information that we were collecting in the form, and we were moving it on an associated category. So we have a category here that contains information about the user and the third-party signer, email, name, and role. So what we can do is to go back to our file and open that customize through the additional menu that we made available. We can open the customize sign on DocuSign dialog. In this case, what the script that we have invoked is doing is retrieving the information from the category in order to pre-fill the form. So we can specify, we already have the signer here, and we already have ourselves as a second signer, and the email subject and email message pre-configured together with the document. What we can do now is just click a button and finalize this agreement on DocuSign to be sent out to our users. So we have been automatically redirected to the DocuSign interface, where we have the possibility to define where Bruce Wayne should sign. So I just put the signature here, and where we have to sign the document, and then just send it, and we will be redirected back on content server in the exact same place where we were. The main difference is now the document has been automatically reserved, waiting for the signed version of the same to be synchronized back. So this is a great example on how the new functionality, custom menu, combined with smart pages, allows us to tailor the user interface and to provide automation everywhere in the system in SmartUI for doing multiple things. And that, as said, the kind of execution mode that you can trigger for a menu, the two that we have seen are just examples. How you configure where these documents, where these comments should be available. If you go one level up in CS, in the content script volume, you see that we have the folder that we utilize to define commands, and we have the folder, another folder that we utilize to define where these commands should be available. So you can identify a space, you can identify a subtype, so the type of the content you want to associate these documents to, these comments to, and in the case of a single space, you can even decide to have a different comment for the different kind of content that is stored into that space. So there's great flexibility in terms of how you can identify where these new commands should become available to your users. And as said, there's basically endless possibilities in terms of what this command can do for you and can provide to your users. A second example of this very same functionality used in a very smart way is our Zoom integration. So our Zoom integration is utilizing pretty much the same the same paradigm in terms of user experience. So what we are doing, what we are building here is a seamless integration between two platforms, leveraging the concept that in a connected workspace, you already are defining the team that is working around this specific content. So it makes absolute sense to have this additional piece of content to be stored in the same context. Or makes sense, in our opinion, to being able to start a conversation from this space that has been designed to organize and keep track of all the activities related, in this case, to a specific sale opportunity. So how the integration works. So again, we have the possibility, we have configured a custom command through Module Suite. We have associated the Zoom icon. So what I can do is directly from here select a connected workspace. A panel will be open containing the configuration that allows us to engage the Zoom API from our system. Again, a form built with beautiful web form. And from here, I can specify the start date. I can specify a topic, so opportunity, for example, status meeting. And the system is automatically creating the email that will be sent to our users containing the information related with the Zoom ID and the newly Zoom created meeting, together with a link that points directly to these connected workspaces. And from here, as you see, the system has automatically extracted the users that are part of the team associated to my connected workspace. So from here, I have the possibility to keep them or select someone else from example, from our system, add them to the meeting. And the nice thing is that I can do that for a single connected workspace, or I can work, say that I have a sales team meeting once a week. I can just select all the opportunities that I like to discuss and do exactly the same. So I can select multiple connected workspace. The users associated to the different team results that have defined in connected workspace will be all invited to at least added to the predefined participants for this meeting, and I have the possibility to send out these requests. We did something more in the perspective of this connected workspace. So what we have here is a scheduled Zoom meeting folder where all the information related with the meetings that we have scheduled in relation of this opportunity are stored. So what I can do from here also is, again, starting a Zoom meeting and say that, again, I will discuss tomorrow about the opportunity status meeting. And I can schedule this new meeting. And what the system is doing is automatically creating, as you see, updating the view, created a new folder where this new meeting information will be stored. And we have the newly created meeting for tomorrow, which was this one. And this meeting will contain the attachments, the recording, everything related to the meeting. And we also have added a new page in this Smart UI perspective. And this page allows us to review the content of the different meetings. So obviously for the one that we have just created, there is not yet any kind of information. So we have no recording, no transcripts, no attachments. But for a previous one, we might have some information. So, and I can load this information. So in this case, you have seen an example of two smart pages. So a perspective leveraging two smart pages on the left to display data that is coming or stored half on this system, half on another system, and on the right for loading the detail of the same very space. As you have seen, the two part of this interface can talk to each other. So I can trigger the execution of an action from one part of the interface to the other part. So I can really make this interface to be very productive and very efficient in terms of user experience. And for the demo part, it's all. So what I'd like now to discuss, I think, Gretchen, you can return the control to Paolo, and I have just a couple of slides to discuss. Paolo, if you can share the presentation.
Just 1 second. Oh.
And
okay, let me just know when I should move forward.
Yeah, move forward, please. So I'd like to discuss this other addition to Model Suite that we created and we introduced with version 2.7. It is the possibility for better leveraging what the distributed agent framework is capable of. So the possibility to implement to a single script, so very quickly and very efficiently, a chain job, so something that allows it to leverage the MapReduce functionality exposed by the distributed agent framework to process a massive amount of data into very small or into smaller chunks and in a very secure, reliable way. So there is a lot of benefits that this new functionality introduces. You will be able to manipulate the data on your system in a very efficient way and in a very secure way. Paolo, if you can go to the move to the next slide. This is an example of a very simple test that we have created to experiment around this new functionality. So as you can obviously read from this slide, we were in the worst condition possible to create a test, a benchmark test. Nevertheless, the result was quite amazing. So we were able to parse the upload of more than 20,000 documents in the system, each one made of a single file of 240 kilobytes, and we process this bulk upload through the usual scheduled script that require us for completion 87 minutes, and the first document become available after 87 minutes, so to a speed of 3.8 documents. The same machine utilizing the new chain job script, so the new functionality, we were able to reduce significantly that time. We were able to increase the speed, and we were able to split this bulk upload into small transactions, so the first documents become available after just 2 minutes. And the script that performs and implements this chain job, so is just 25 lines of code. So there is no script development involved. It is something that you can create literally in a matter of minutes, but can really change the way this kind of operation are performed on top of your system. And that's all. Paul, I think you can take from here.
Thank you, Patrick. So thank you for obviously the demo and the explanation on the chain job. Now, before we go into the Q&A, I just want to discuss a little bit more about the business and investment benefits, essentially our main values, because up to now we've discussed and seen more of the practical and technical benefits of leveraging the module suite. So first and foremost, we've touched this on quite a bit, is really the ease of use, essentially creating easy to use, intuitive, tailored business solutions that really facilitate their own adoption as well as the adoption of the CSP platform in general. While the technology behind it, again, the zero footprint, it keeps things lean, and the easy to learn tool set allows really most technical users to become productive in really just a matter of days. So just to give you an idea, the module suite, we have a standard training course, and that's for two days. And we've seen that with 3 days additional self-study hands-on exercises, most technical users are able to get started right away. Now, thanks to that low-coding approach, an application or solution can really be delivered in really a fraction of the time. And we have a hard number for that, and it's actually coming from a customer survey. And that customer survey essentially told us that when customers started utilizing the module suite, they were able to deliver solutions with up to 80% less effort and less time. So in all, the module suite is really about maximizing your EIM investment. So in other words, doing more with less effort and delivering awesome results at the end of the day. So before we go into the Q&A, I just would like to make 2 quick announcements. First and foremost is that in a couple of weeks' time, we'll have another webinar hosted by OpenText. And in this case, the purpose of that webinar will really be to show more functionality of the module suite. So give you a bigger, wider panorama of what the module suite is capable of. And then also there will be a virtual expo done by the Solex partner community. At the moment, the date is TBD, so look out for further communication from ourselves, from other Solex partners as well, with more details about that. So I think we can jump into Q&A, but we have a little bit over 10 minutes, so that should be sufficient. Gretchen, if you could take it from here.
Yeah, for sure. Just a reminder, if you have a question, if you'd like to keep your question anonymous, you can put it into the chat, where only I will see that, or you can put it into the Q&A panel, and we'll be glad to answer those questions for you now. All right, first question is, what is the used source code language? Did you hear the question?
I did. I don't know if Patrick, did you hear that as well?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So our content script is actually executing all script code, but offers to the developers, so the people in charge of writing scripts, a syntax that is 100% compliant with a domain-specific language built on top of Groovy. So the syntax of content script is a standard syntax, is basically a standard language, and that is based on Groovy. Groovy is a scripting solution for Java. You can find millions of pages on Google already with that product. So finding help on how to write a script or which kind of operator should you use, etc., is super easy because it's not proprietary language. It is very widespread around the world. It's very utilized, and there is a very active community around it. So we decided to go for that kind of integration for that specific reason.
Okay. And could you explain how the pricing works for this?
Paolo?
Sure, I can take care of that. So the module suite, it's the pricing model is very straightforward. It's named user. So what we consider a named user is any CSP user that is somehow leveraging or benefiting from the technology. So this could be a user who is filling out a form, a user that is utilizing, let's say, the application built with module suite, a user participating in a workflow that's been enhanced with the module suite. So again, if there's external users involved, most likely they wouldn't need a license, but in those cases we do one-to-one discussions. And what we've seen, what we've talked today, what Patrick talked about a little bit was some different modules. So we saw the form capabilities. We talked about smart pages, the script console, which is content script, which is scripting engine. So essentially all these tools, they come as part of the module suite bundle. Gretchen, was there a second part to that question, or?
Oh no, that was it.
Okay. If I didn't answer everything, please either contact me directly or just leave another question in the Q&A panel.
Could you please let us know if there are any available trial or development license packages for OpenText partners? Thank you.
So there are trial licenses available of the module suite. That is something we regularly discuss. Again, that's probably better to have a one-to-one discussion, but short answer is yes.
Does AnswerModules ease the use of continuous? You have to look in the Q&A panel. I don't want to mispronounce it, but continuous integration tools like Jenkins, GitLab, Media Labs, etc.
So I think this is related with the kind of development that you put on top of the platform, and I think the answer is yes, because in fact there's a couple of our partners that we have been told they are leveraging exactly these kind of tools in order to automate tests, automate the integration, and they are building, let me say, distributable application utilizing our solution to be delivered to their customers as basically packaged application, and to develop these applications they are utilizing the some of the mentioned tools. Yeah, so the answer should be probably yes.
Right. Let me just double check. I'm not seeing any other questions, and we've got contact information on your screen for Paulo at AnswerModules. You can also contact us at any time at partners@opentext.com if you think of a question. Let me just make one more question. Does the DocuSign connector come with Module Suite?
No, actually that's correct. The DocuSign connector, it's actually a separate solution. So we have licensing for those customers that do not have Module Suite, and we also have licensing for those customers that do have the Module Suite.
Okay, I think that's all the questions.
So again, thank you all for participating in today's webinar. Again, it's always a pleasure. I'd like to remind you again the webinar on the 18th if you'd like to see a little bit more capabilities of the Module Suite, because we just touched really the tip of the iceberg today. So hope to see you there as well. And if you have any, say, additional questions, technical, commercial, please contact me directly. I'll be happy to have a conversation.
Great. Thank you so much, Paulo and Patrick, for your presentation today. Just a reminder to check out opentext.com/events, where you'll be able to refer back to this recording, and it should be up within the next 24 hours. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Gretchen. Bye-bye.